Okay, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. At this time, I'll reconvene the La Quinta City Council meeting of July 2nd, 2013. At this time, I'd ask that you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your hand over your heart and repeat with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, the first item on the agenda is public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on an item which is on the agenda, I'd ask that you please fill out a request to speak form. It's a form like this. It's in the hallway going out there, and give it to our city clerk over here. At this time, anyone wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so. I do have one request. Bill Munster? Excuse us for being in here. We'd normally be in the council chambers, but the air conditioning isn't working and it's not the time to be in there.
My name is Bill Meister. I'm from North Shore. I'm the president of the Sea and Desert Contributing Association that was partnered. It's a nonprofit that's partnered with the Salton Sea State Recreation Area. I'm here today to with my co-board member, Fred Garber, who is the resident of La Quinta, to address you on the project that we have going. And I'd like to just turn it over to Fred at this point.
Hello. In the past year, as the Sea and Desert Interpret Association raised funds to keep the Salton Sea State Park open for the 2012-2013 year. And with matching funds from the state, we'll be open for yet another year. And this enables the Sea and Desert Interpret Association to have more time to create projects that will make the park self-sustaining. One of our biggest projects right now is adding a group campsite. We have created a brand new interpretive program called the Salton Sea Discovery Kids Camp. Every Saturday, except for event weekends, October through April, we'll be teaching large groups of children aged 7 through 12 about important environmental issues in a fun and exciting way. There will be 3 sessions during the season, and each session will be 8 weeks. In our sessions, the kids will be able to earn merit badges, where we have different ones, like they will learn to have a kayak badge, where they learn how to kayak, and they learn about water safety. And we've actually been able to have a volunteer, the 3-time world champion kayak surfer, Eric Hanscom, is going to be teaching the kids. Also, we have other wonderful volunteers that are very knowledgeable around the area, and one is Birder Bob, who will take the kids to earn 2 different type of birding badges, where they will hike to the wetlands and learn about the importance of the preservations of the wetlands for the birds, and also be able to identify the birds and be able to identify sounds that they do. And then another one will be another badge that they can earn is the Desert Pupfish badge, where they will be going on a hike with Reptile Rob, one of our knowledgeable volunteers, that will take them to the Dos Palmas Reserve to experience where the pupfish are and learn about what they eat, how they survive in the desert. Now, in order to achieve these things, we need to achieve our goal of raising $50,000 to build a big group campsite, which we will need, which will include purchasing material to build a 50 by 50 square foot screened-in room for the interpretive programs, meals, and other programs we have in there. Also, we need to build restrooms and showers, and they will also need to add electricity to the group campsite for nighttime lighting and solar panels for heating of the shower waters. We also needed to add tables and benches, and also to build a large campfire ring for the programs. And of course, all this will be ADA compliant. We'd also like to provide transportation to and from the Salton Sea Discoveries Kids Camp by renting a bus each week. And this is the beginning of our new and educational interpreter programs here at the Salton Sea State Recreation Area. We've had a huge response so far, and we hope to be able to accommodate up to 50 children or more for each session. More children want to attend, and hopefully in the near future we'll be able to add yet another day to help educate even more children. We've already just recently had a supporter that they offered, or we were able to get a grant for $20,000 towards our goal. Our goal is $50,000. We were wondering or hoping that we were just asking if you could contribute $10,000 towards our project and help make a very wonderful program for kids out there at the Salton Sea, which I don't know how many of you have been out to the state park recently, but it's quite a wonderful area to go, I mean, for the kids to be at. It's just one of our last true, when you go out to the state park, that it's just nature in its purity. And we're very excited about this program, and we would much appreciate any support you can give us.
Edie Hill back there, we have a grant program, so we ask that you go through the grant program for these kind of requests.
And I have a copy of your application.
Oh, you got it? Good.
I have a quick question. It says ages 7 and up. I'm extremely interested in the s'mores badge. I think I've excelled on that some. What is the cutoff age of ages 7 and up? These are fun. I didn't know scorpions glowed at night. Really?
Yes, they do. And that was one of the other badges they can earn, and that's going to be done during the nighttime camp out.
Do you get the kids into the water at all?
Yes, that would be during the kayaking.
Well, no, I'm not on a boat, I'm talking swimming.
No.
I imagine probably one of them would get in the water sometime during the learning how to kayak.
No, I say this because as a youngster, my folks used to camp at the Salton Sea, and that's where I really got into water and that at the Salton Sea and that. But this goes back many, many years. That's when there was Corina in the sea.
Oh yes, I too. I learned how to water ski on the Salton Sea. Actually, but my family has had a retail business that we still have in North Shore since 1958.
Well, mine goes back a lot further than that. But,
Okay, thank you.
good. Thank you very much. Unless
Thank
there's any
you.
other questions, and that, appreciate it. Like I said, go through the grant program and that, and see what we can do.
Thank
so
you.
much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the confirmation of the agenda. Any changes, additions, or deletions by staff?
There are none.
By council members? Okay. Move on to presentations. We have none this evening. Written correspondence, communications, none. I'll ask for approval of minutes of June 18th.
So moved. Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I'll move on to the consent calendar.
Move consent calendar.
If I can, before we do, Mr. Mayor, item number 3 on the consent calendar, I need to recuse myself as one of my staff members is the treasurer for the Chamber of Commerce, and we have a trade where we provide financial services for free, but we have a emerald sponsor level that we receive in trade.
It's a trade.
So I'll need to recuse myself from item number 3.
Okay.
And Kathy, do we need to disclose our affiliation with the chamber before?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have a membership with them, you should state it on the record, but it's not disqualifying.
I'm also a dues paid member.
SMI, just
Emma.
pay member.
And my full-time employer, JP Memorial Hospital, is a sponsor and one of the representatives for the hospital for the chamber.
We're pretty well represented.
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I think there was a motion.
Motion
Before-
for, motion
Well,
for, motion for
Excluding
consent
item
calendar.
number 3, if you would.
excluding number 3.
Well, number 3 for a second.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I'll entertain a motion.
Move item number 3 of the consent calendar.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor? Aye.
And one abstention.
And one abstention. Okay, good. All right, we'll move on to our business session. An ordinance amending all municipal code charters relating to commissions, boards, and committees. Staff report?
Mary Dodd.
Oh,
Back here.
Susan, you're in.
There you are.
At the last meeting, council directed staff to revise certain sections of the municipal code relating to boards, commissions, and committees. So we started to do that and looked at where these chapters were throughout the entire municipal code and how they had been written over a large span of time and were very different, and there was no cohesive arrangement to them. So we took the opportunity, since we were going to make changes anyway, to consolidate them all into Title II now, and to take every issue matter that was common to all of them and put it in one chapter, so that if you wanted to know terms which are now common to all of them, or any other matter will be in one chapter, and only the matters that are unique to any board and commission would be in the chapter with their heading. So that's been done. All the changes that you requested, you suggested at the last meeting have been done, and I'll go through what they are very quickly to refresh your memory. One was to standardize all the terms to 3 years. That applicants could apply for more than one position, but their preferences would not be noted or would be considered when making appointments. The order of interviews and appointments would be determined by a random drawing, and I put in the code that the clerk, whoever he or she may be, would do the random drawing publicly during a meeting. A rotation would be instituted so that incumbents would not be reappointed after they had served 2 3-year terms. They could apply for any other board and commission during the interim or after they had served 2 3-year terms. And then after they sat out one full term of 3 years, they could reapply. The exception to this rotation would be the professional positions that are in different boards and commissions that may be more difficult to fill. You instructed us that all boards and commissions should be kept, all existing boards and commissions, that council's ability to extend terms should they need to should be kept, which it was, and that these changes would apply to the appointments you'll be making in 2 weeks, with the exception of the rotation after 2 terms. That will be initiated in 2014.
That's gonna be initiated right away, was my understanding.
Yeah, mine
The
too.
rotation out is right away, not in 2014.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't understand that. I thought that,
The
I thought
appointments
that
we're making
they-
would be coming in
there
under
would-
the new rules.
Right, but there would not be a rotate out that we would make a decision on in 2013 based on the current applicants.
No,
So the
correct.
first rotation the first term limit takes place actually next year when we do this. That's what you're saying, correct?
Right, that was
It's a
my
matter of
understanding.
reading.
Sorry, I
That
don't
nobody,
understand.
in 2 weeks, anybody who has served 6 years would still be considered this last time.
Right.
That's
For-
the intent.
For one more 3
For
years.
one more,
They
until,
are grandfathered
until
in.
2014, when years of service will be a factor as to
Got it.
whether
Yeah.
they're.
So what happens is
Okay.
those individuals who've been serving for
I got it.
already 2 terms next year
Yeah.
can't technically apply next year when their
And
rotation is up.
That's fine.
Right.
So that,
Okay.
yeah, that's,
Okay.
It's a matter of understanding the language
The language.
and the nuances
Maybe I'll
there.
figure it out, okay. So all those those were incorporated in the changes, per your direction. And then the additional changes, I'll point out so you're fully aware of them, is the Architectural and Landscape Review Committee has been changed to a board because frankly it meets the definition of a board and should be a board. The criteria for a few of the professional positions has been broadened. And in fact, Greg brought to you last time a broadening of the Construction Board of Appeals ordinance. Well, we've dropped that and just incorporated it right into this one with everything else. And we have a request to broaden the Architectural and Landscape Review Board professional positions to add planning background or architectural landscaping background. So those have been done. I told you about how we move things around and put the general matters all in one chapter. So that's it.
Questions of staff?
No, I have a question or a comment for the council. I think in reviewing this again, and I think you've done a superb job. You really have. And I'm certainly glad. I hope that the procedure that you've used here will continue to be used in other sections of the ordinance book. What I'm afraid, and I guess it's not the ordinance book, it would be the municipal code. But under E, applicants may reapply to a board commission they have previously sat on after a lapse of one term. I don't know, I just kind of thought maybe 3 years is a little long.
I said that last time, I think they should sit out a year, and if they wanna reapply, they can. But it was the pleasure of the council at that point to do
Just
3 full
move
years.
on, yeah.
Knowing
I
that
just
they can
wanted
move
to
to
see
another
if there was
commission
any,
involved.
anybody wanted to reconsider. I mean, you know, what's the difference if they set out 1 year, they can reapply, then just reapplying is reapplying. Doesn't mean you're gonna get appointed, but it, you know, if they have moved off with the committee.
There are other boards that they can apply
Yeah,
to
sure, they
also.
can do that right away.
6 more different ways.
If there are individuals that prefer one area of focus over the other and wouldn't necessarily wanna just pop commissions for the sake of staying involved, so do we lose that interaction or that willingness to serve if they have to wait for 3 full years versus 1 year for the opportunity?
I'm good with it either way.
Well, it doesn't matter to me either way, but as long as we continue to get strong applicants like we have been.
Right.
And if we find where we're not getting applicants, we may have to
We may
revisit
want-
that
yeah,
Right.
we may
to
need that
resurface
person.
some.
We'll just lapse 1 year then instead.
I think we should just change it now to 1 year.
one
And
year.
then that leaves the option.
All right.
I like
agree with
1
that.
year.
Yeah.
I'll change it to 1 year then, so item E.
So I think there's consensus on changing E to 1 year instead of one
One term,
Okay.
so they have to sit out. And that's typical in a lot of boards anyway, you have to excuse yourself a year before you can
Come back.
come back and serve.
Susan, within everything that we've done, is there anything in there that allows the council the latitude of making changes because of conditions? What I'm thinking about is, you know, I don't know what's gonna come up, but somewhere along the line, we get a commission, a committee, and something happens and we need to make a change and that is not part of this agreement. Does this give the council the latitude to make changes because of conditions?
You know, it really depends what the change is. Generally, I would have to say no, but we'll let the city attorney decide, because this is an ordinance which goes into the muni code, which means you've got first reading for change, you've got second reading, and then it takes effect 30 days later.
No, I
So
just,
it's not real quick. You can certainly make the changes anytime, but you have to keep in mind that it's probably 45 days out before it takes effect.
But certainly, we do have a section in here that talks about removal from office and limitation on absences. So, I mean, we can
Or
remove
for
some
extension
of it.
flexibility.
I don't have a crystal ball where I can tell what things are gonna happen.
No, I
in
know.
the future, but I wanna make sure that we have the latitude to be able to make a decision and do a change if necessary, without having to wait,
A year.
or whatever it happens to be,
45
to
days.
get the thing approved.
We
And
will
that-
change the ordinance.
and that- But if we need to do that, then, I just wanna make sure we have the tools to be able to do it.
If we have a board member that needs to rotate and there's no one applying to take that position, so then we have a board that is minus one member on that board, do we just wait a year and let it go, or do we?
We cross that bridge when we.
Yeah, we have the ability to extend.
Councilmember Osborne, you have the ability,
To
the
extend.
council has the ability to extend the term.
Aye.
Yeah,
So
which
you-
we need to
you-
talk about.
That
Based
ability
on demand.
you have now, and we have kept it in the new ordinance. So if you need to, if you don't have enough applicants
Right.
or such, you can extend the term. You can also do the opposite. You can terminate anyone for any reason without explanation.
Oops.
Right here, removal from office.
So,
Sorry,
so
I
you've
didn't
got
look
it
through
both
that, it was
ways.
sunlight. Whoa, I can't go through it
It
again.
says with or without clause, right here.
Jeez.
All right, I'm good then.
Just one
Right.
comment, I mean, so, as Terry said, Susan, you did a great job pulling all of our thoughts together in short order, and I think this is just indicative of what we and staff are collectively doing to try to streamline, organize, simplify the processes to run this city.
Yeah.
So while it may be small in some people's mind, this is a big deal to get it in one spot, get it streamlined. We don't have certain exceptions for certain commissions, and this is the menu, and this is the package, and this is how we roll. Love it. So thank you.
Very good.
Very good job. So just for clarification, so that I'm on the same page, these will be introduced but won't be effective when you're doing it. So when you make the appointments, I think you still will need to appoint for 2 years consistent with your existing, and then just add a year in a
Extend it,
subsequent.
right.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Formality.
strange to do it
Right,
that way,
well,
but
understand.
I just wanted that clarification.
And then lastly, we were going to provide Susan the opportunity to check with the commissions because we changed the dates for the interviews and some people are vacationing. How many groups will we be seeing, and so they're all here and have a chance to be in front of us?
We're still working on getting them all here on the 16th, and the few people, I think we're down to 2 now, who are not even geographically close. We're trying to see if we can get them on Skype during that meeting.
Oh, wow.
So we're still hoping for the 16th for everyone. If it all falls apart, then I'll have to do some on the 16th, some on the 8th.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question, Kathy. Okay. We have some board members whose commission expires prior to our interviews. Do we need to extend their terms at this point in time?
Well, that's not on the agenda to do.
I understand.
But unless
How do
they're
we do
having a
that?
meeting between now and when the appointment is taking
Mhm.
place, that there's no need to extend.
So we're good?
And we talked about it at the executive team, and as long as the interviews take place on the 16th, we're fine.
Fine, okay.
Good, okay.
The interviews and the appointments.
Yes.
Okay. Unless there's any other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to take up ordinance number,
516.
516, thank you, by title number only, my third reading.
Second?
Moved and second, please vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Move to.
I'll read it.
Yes, please.
Ordinance 516, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of La Quinta, California, amending chapters 2.06, 2.29, 2.70, 2.80, 2.95, 7.04, and 8.01, and adding chapters 2.30, 2.35, and 2.40, relating to the rules and regulations for city boards, commissions, and committees.
Wow. Introduce ordinance number 516 on first reading.
Second?
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, and that's we need to select a representative to the Chamber of Commerce Workshop Informational Exchange Committee. Edie?
Yes?
Need to
We
bring
don't-
anything
I don't
up?
know that we need a.
We don't need a report.
report. I'll-
But unless you'd like to say
I
something.
don't have anything, I think you all know what to do.
let's-
Carrie is it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move Councilwoman Terry Henderson.
Second.
Moved in second, unless there's any comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to study session. We have none this evening. We'll move on to reports and informational items. Let's see, Linda.
Yeah, so I'll start with some good news. I'm only reporting this time on the Greater Palm Springs Convention and Visitors Bureau, because the information exchange will move to you, Terry, and I reported to see that in last meetings. There was an article in today's paper regarding the tourism, what are we calling this?
Greater Palm Springs.
No, I'm sorry, it's my bid, my new bid.
Program.
Oh,
Tourism
business marketing district.
Tourism Business Marketing.
Tourism marketing district.
We passed, I'm a member of the Joint Powers Authority, we passed a new bid for the tourism dollars to the tune of $3 million coming into this valley, specifically to target consumer marketing and tourism to attract folks to come to this area. Predominantly now, the bid dollars are really focused on large group sales and convention sales, and this extra money that is raising the TOT on 50-room or more hotels who participate right now in the business bid. Goes from a 2% TOT to a 3% TOT. So that 1% equates to a little over $3 million a year that we'll be bringing in to use for additional marketing. So that's very good news. That was unanimous. And then we did have our awards and update ceremony. I will submit the annual report for review. Financially, occupancy's up, hotel rooms are up, future bookings are up, all good news. And in part of the awards presentation, we did have a local winner, and that was the La Quinta Arts Foundation. Christy Solomon was recognized in the Santa Rosa Award for recognition of destination excellence, and it was an organization that partners with the CVB on improving the overall destination of our entire valley. So kudos to that group, #1 in the nation, and that's my report.
Okay. Just a comment, Terry and I were at the motion party at the hotel Saturday night, and as I was leaving, I ran into the general manager of the hotel, and I said, "Well, how's business?" He says, "We're booked solid." He says, "You want to come with me?" He says, "There's 1,000 women in the Fiesta area jazzercising." And he says that the hotel was booked solid, and he says, "We've got several bookings this summer that we're just totally booked up." So they're doing a great job.
Great.
And that, yeah, I met the new general manager for Lincoln Resort. He was just added on to the HIDC committee about a month or so ago. So he actually has experience working with Meriwether out of Wyoming.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Linda.
Tourism Marketing District, sorry. TMD, for the record.
Tourism marketing district. I said that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to
Christie.
Christy. Yeah, next.
I did want to say, Susan, that I like how you set up the reports and informational items by person rather than committee, so we're not trying to go through the whole thing. It's nice. I have Animal Campus coming up next week, along with Mountains Conservancy, and the Jacqueline Cochran Regional Airport Authority did not have enough folks for quorum, so they didn't meet. CVEP had their last meeting and introduced their new board of directors. The chairman is Keith Goff with Rabobank, vice chairman Dr. Rick Axelrod, Desert Blood Services, secretary Jan Harnick, mayor of Palm Desert, treasurer Elaine Holmes, mayor of Indio, and the past chair is Tom Davis, the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. And basically that was it. It was a photo opportunity. They didn't do a whole lot other than just the installation of the officers. And then something I wanted to ask too, on the CVEP report, we all get a weekly CVEP.
Right.
Do you want me to re-report on that, or because some of it doesn't take place in the meetings? it's just things that are going on.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I
could
think
do
we-
that, or not, I mean, you all get it and read it,
Yeah.
but it's up to you,
I don't need a second reading on
thank you. Just to make sure, first reading, okay. All right, that's it, thanks.
it. That's it?
Yep.
Okay, Terry?
Yeah, I'm gonna be, really very short. I mean.
You are
shorter-
very
Yeah,
short.
shorter than I am. But I'm gonna take the opportunity at the general, meeting of CBAG this year, the end of June. The new chairman went in, and the new chairman of CBAG is, the mayor, Don Ada. So he should have a very exciting year. And, I'm not sure where that would have been reported. Maybe he would have told you when he had his chance, but I thought I'd jump out in front. And I have a league meeting coming up next week in San Diego, and I certainly hope I come back with news with a G in front of it, like good news,
Good
and
news.
not more bad news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Lee?
Yes, sir. We attended the recent ECAC board meeting with the Imperial Irrigation District. And one of the things the Imperial Irrigation District doing is improving their energy rewards program. And they've got a pretty extensive rewards program. It's pretty good. And also, they're changing the rules regarding the insulation to be more flexible regarding attic insulation. And so previously, the maximum existing insulation levels are 11. They're raising that to R19. And they're trying to get up to an R38 with this new attic insulation program. And they're allowing funding 60 cents a square foot for additional attic insulation, along with a couple other programs. So they're really doing a great job in regards to these programs to reduce energy or the consumption, I should say. A number of things on the air conditionings and whatnot. Also, the energy manager, Carl Stills, is putting together a new program in his department that basically is going to increase his budget by about $2.5 million here in this next 12 months and another $3.5 million in the next 12 months. So he is really amping up the energy department and trying to streamline some things. And I asked him, these are more of a personnel type increases, not a capital improvement. And then I asked him, well, how much of this is going to affect the La Quinta office, which is minimal, if any. So I'm just keeping them accountable to improve La Quinta Imperial Irrigation Energy Department as well as Imperial. But otherwise, they're adding quite a bit of personnel to the energy department, and they're adding quite a bit to the energy incentives. So that's the extent of my report.
Okay, I've got a couple of things I want to say. First of all, on Sunline, you've all read the articles in the paper, what's transpired in that the general manager, Mike Oglesby, has resigned, and the comment was to take on further responsibilities in other transit agencies. Michael did a wonderful job for the desert. We're one of the leading agency in transit in the United States because of our alternative fuels. And so I'm sorry to see him go, but there's issues there that will never come out in the press, unfortunately. We did get an audit, and the audit came through just fine, so we're very happy about the audit that that happened at Sunline. Also, we're dealing with the Desert Hot Springs and the new COD campus. They're asking for student passes and that, and so we're dealing with that issue to help those who really have a problem. And one of the biggest problems, some of them have complained that it takes about 4 hours to get from Desert Hot Springs down to COD, and that because of what they have to do in the waiting, and it's kind of a problem. So we're working on that right now. And that interesting with COD and that the city of La Quinta is the fourth with the numbers of students that we have in our city that is going to COD, and there's close to 1,000 students out of the city of La Quinta. Interesting. We balanced our budget with a couple of $1 million in the black, so we're in great shape there, and I thank Michael for that. We are continuing with the Riverside commuter link. That's the bus that goes from Palm Desert clear into Riverside now. There's some little problems that we have in there, but it seems to be working out well. I'm not sure we're making any money on it, but at least the grants that we're getting from the county and that to help maintain that. So that commuter link is going to continue on.
Is that the one that leaves like at 4 o'clock in the morning or something?
Yes, yeah, it's kind of tough to meet those things. And there is the possibility of a regional labor issue that may have an impact on semi operations. And I just read that the bottom line on this thing is that the issue has potential of further delaying the implementation of capital projects as well as affecting operations if it is not resolved soon. Sunline receives operating funds from the federal government, which may be delayed as a result of this dispute. So there's a union dispute that's going on that hopefully we can get it resolved without further problems. Okay, and we'll move on to CDAG, and that we had the General Assembly last week. Thank Perry and Linda for being there, and that helping to represent the city of La Quinta. It was a fun evening.
So I just kept thinking as Blythe was doing their spiel,
Yeah.
and I talked to Frank about this afterwards, I'm already thinking about what is La Quinta gonna do when your term expires and you've gotta do something
Do
La
something.
Quinta-ish. You've gotta,
We'll see which way we're going to go. But the good news is we all got a cantaloupe. The city manager brought in from
fresh out of the ground.
from Blythe, that he said he helped pick, so.
Well, actually,
interesting.
the outgoing chairman brought them in,
Yes.
Joey, they've been from this
We give everybody a golf ball.
Yeah. We did award a contract and the distribution of 25% of local sharing, and that's the Jefferson Street interchange, the freeway that is coming about and moving forward in that. So we did approve that CDAG will be putting in 25% of the total cost on the thing. So, and that was just about it. So it was a good meeting, and a fun evening.
excellent meal.
And that, so, and the meal was good too.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I'll move on to the department reports. City manager?
Wanted to mention that in the department report from our office and community development, we addressed the items that came forward in the public comment from the last meeting regarding the village animal hospital, the code compliance, the pit bull activity, as well as the desire to look at hens or expand our ability to keep hens here in the city of La Quinta. One of the points that came up in talking with Councilmember Henderson is that public comment comes at the first part of the meeting in terms of people providing comment to this body, and then the response to it typically is in the following meeting or following council meeting at the very end. And she raised the concern that, gee, if people are watching the video and our viewership goes up, that we would have a situation where people would hear concerns but then have to wait all the way to the end of the next video to find what the responses were. So, question to you all, if we should rejuggle the agenda to respond to public comments from the prior meeting earlier on, or wait to or hold the current practice or wait till the end.
I think earlier's good.
Well, I don't know that I was even suggesting that the responses go earlier, but other than maybe making sure that the video has on it, that there are responses, there were
Okay.
responses, and they obviously they appear online anyway with our agenda, so they can go to the agenda and look at it. I mean, I was just concerned that they're gonna hear the complaints and not get the answers.
Get the answer.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is an index, so it might be easier to have those responses right after public comment.
I don't care how you work it out, but I think it's important that we consider it.
Yeah, so long as we get the information out.
Is that enough to give you no information on what you're looking for?
I find it difficult
Looking
when we
into
just
everybody's
say,
eyes.
3 minutes and we move on. I feel compelled to talk to these people.
Yeah, I know.
And,
Yeah.
and
That ends up
that's a
being-
challenge.
So as long as it's on there,
Yeah.
where it's in.
Very
it's
short.
all okay.
Hold
We
it
can
on.
make those off,
Okay,
and they can see we are addressing those matters.
very good.
Okay.
Okay.
I have direction.
All right.
Well,
City attorney?
If I'd
I
like
have
to
no
just-
report.
No, but if I could, I'd like to talk about the report that we got. I thought that it was very thorough. It gave me certainly a lot of repeated information I already knew that came in a condensed way here on the animal control situation and how that was handled. And I think that was excellent. And now we do have this question of the hens. I mean, we've got a report from the staff. We've had a request. If we don't say something, it dies right here.
We have an ordinance. We don't disallow hens.
That's right.
They just allow it in a certain spatial.
I just want to, make sure that we know where we're going. because-
And the thing, when they said, well, Indio allows it in Palm Springs, but they have the same type of ordinance we
Yeah.
do. So it's on large properties.
Right.
So they're no different than we are.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay? All right, city clerk? Anything?
Nothing additional.
Okay, and staff? Okay, we'll move on to mayor and council, community development department, the response to public comment. You did that, so
Yes.
that's taken care of it. I didn't know you were in the community development department.
We move around.
Okay. You're
Frustrating.
flexible.
Flexible.
Okay, mayor and council members items. I have a couple. First of all, I don't know where we would go on this, but the issue where the 19 firefighters were killed in Arizona. On behalf of the city, I would like maybe our fire department saying that we were concerned and our condolences go to the families and that, because that's a tragic effect. We had the one up here in Whitewater some years ago and that, and we know how it affects them, especially a small city like that. So I would think, and I don't know who would handle it in Arizona, but maybe to our local fire department and that something acknowledging that our concerns on that.
Yeah.
Do we know if any of our folks are going to
Over there.
aid?
I know some Riverside.
Riverside
Yes.
have gone
Folks are
to
going,
aid
yeah.
if the fire's still ablaze.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, two of them were from Hammett area initially, right? It's a shame. The second thing, I would like to comment on one of our departments, and that last Friday, I'm sitting at, I have a table in a little dinette area, and it's all glass around it. So it's nice and bright and area, and I'm reading my agenda for tonight. And I look out the window and I see this bird, and this bird is flipping around and he's bouncing around. And I thought, what is it? The bird is nuts or something like that. And I watched him for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I didn't pay any attention. And about 20 minutes later, I look back out there and he's still doing it. And I can't figure out, what the heck's wrong with that bird? So I open up, I got shutters, and I pull the shutters aside, and I'm looking out there. And he keeps, there's a big yellow pot there in the corner of the wall, and he keeps going back like into that corner and then backs out. I look there, and there's a snake in there, and apparently it was
Was it a rodent
trying to
there?
protect a nest or something, who
okay.
knows. But anyway, so I called our security, and then I called animal control. And within 10-15 minutes, animal control was there. The young lady came out there, and she had a couple of pieces of equipment. She glommed onto that snake.
Yep.
In 5 seconds, that snake was in a pot, and she was on her way. And I just want to commend animal control. They did an outstanding job of getting that snake out. I wasn't going to go out and look because I didn't know whether it was a rattler
I was
or
gonna say, what
not.
kind of
And I
snake
wasn't
was
taking
it?
a chance. But it was about 3 feet long, so it was a good sized snake. It was about this big around. But animal control did an outstanding job, so I want to commend them doing a great job, and it only took that young woman just a few seconds, and she had that snake in the pot. So that was great.
I've had the same experience up at the house with them, yeah.
But, I wasn't gonna go out there and check, that thing was going, no thanks.
Mine was a rattler.
Was it a rattler? No, geez, yeah, well, it was in the pot, but, again, my comments on that. Anybody else? Yeah, Christine?
Yes, I want to, thank Greg for putting on the ham radio generators too. It was so cool. I've never seen the setup before, and it was really great. I had an opportunity to talk with John, yes, at length, and,
When are you getting your license?
I am gonna do that.
I heard a
You
rumor.
knew that, didn't you?
I did know that. I
Yes.
can sense that about you.
I'm working, I'm working on it. And in case anyone missed it, you can go on Linda's Facebook page.
Yes,
Surprise,
picture.
surprise, and see the whole
I talked to a
thing.
guy in Wisconsin. Well, I just like saying,
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't have the chance to see them doing it. They were all eating chili when I got there.
Well, you did arrive at dinner time. As I recall, you were on early.
Nobody was on the radio, they were all eating chili.
Well, I had the opportunity to walk in with a young couple that had only been in the community for a year and a half, and I said, and they were saying how much they loved it, and I said, where did you move from? They said, Sky Valley. And I said, well, there are a few more things to do here in Sky Valley.
That's for sure.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to ask you too about the, this petition to designate the city of La Quinta as a purple.
It's in the mail.
Right.
Yeah. I talked to Wanda about it this morning, and
Good.
she'll be putting it together.
Perfect.
and I just have one more announcement. Tuesday, July 9th, the CVEP is doing a Coachella Valley Blood Drive Challenge. This is the one where every city is picking a day in July, and we are competing with our other cities on how many units of blood we can procure during a donation period. So Tuesday, July 9th at our senior center from 12:30 to 6:30 p.m. is the La Quinta Blood Drive Day. So give the gift of life. We're not asking for a check, we're just asking for a pint. And of course, I'm not competitive, but we must win. And even if you're not in La Quinta, but you love La Quinta, you can give in La Quinta and we get credit for it.
And yeah, if we're out of town on that particular day, we can still go do it.
You can
on
still
behalf
go
of the city.
to Livestream and donate on behalf of the city of La Quinta, your days or such. And the winning city will get that recognition on their Tree of Life. If you haven't been to Livestream, they have a Tree of Life inside their main lobby, represents their 5-gallon plus donors. So the goal is 100 units within that time frame. So I will be there.
Keep in mind that people 5 foot and under cannot be a blood bowl. That's what they told me.
Do I get orange juice?
Yes, and cookies.
And a
Lots of
good, there you go.
Tuesday, July 9th, I'll be over there. It'll be on Facebook, I'll be over there.
I'd like to congratulate Cal State San Bernardino Palm Desert campus for having their first, with their freshman class starting this year. I think that's a fantastic thing. And it's good to know that our city was involved with that campus and helped the construction of that campus. So I just want to congratulate the Cal State San Bernardino.
We're putting
Palm
together
Desert campus.
an acknowledgement of this to go to the university.
Right.
So on behalf of the city.
That's fantastic. We gave them $1 million for the first thing we've ever done like that.
Yeah, that's right. And that was for the nursing program
Right.
and that,
Right.
because we totally understood the need here in the valley.
We also had a redevelopment agency.
Yes,
We
at
did.
that time.
We did that.
Yeah.
But the redevelopment agencies didn't do
Details.
anything.
Well, with that, unless there's anything else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, I'll call to order the regular meeting of the successor agency to the La Quinta Redevelopment Agency for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013. Let it be known that all agency members are present. Move on to public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on this item can do it at this time. Seeing none, then we'll move on to confirmation of agenda. Any changes by staff?
There are none.
By agency members? Okay. No presentations, no written communication. Last for approval of minutes of
So
June
moved.
18th.
Move
Second.
approval.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Move on to the consent calendar.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Move adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
I won. I was close.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you know,